Hello viewers and welcome to another match of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. My name is Mitch and I am the Hive Tyrant. Today we have one of the semi-final matches of the spring 2016 season of the Black Crusade. Today I have the honor of being joined by a very special co-commentator, so my dear sir, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, Mitch and viewers. I am Sam Mann, the War Master here of the Black Crusade League. So thanks for letting me commentate this one with you, Mitch.
Not a problem at all. So Sam, why don't you go ahead and introduce us to our two players today?
All right. Well, we've got a pretty exciting top four matchup here. We've got Corvus piloting Cato. So Corvus is a two-time Black Crusade champ. He won the summer and fall 2015 seasons, and he was runner-up in the spring 2015. So he's pretty accomplished here. And then we have dlord running Kith, who was runner-up last season, winter 2016, actually running Old One Eye back then. So if you can take Old One Eye to runner-up of a 110-man tournament, you're pretty good.
Right, so by switching to Packmaster Kith, looks like he's in full try-hard mode. dlord is going to be keeping his opening hand. He's our player beginning with initiative. Corvus is still deciding and running through our planets here. Yvonne, planet number 1, is that planet which allows players to put units into play in their HQ, and it looks like we could see a pretty quick match today, I guess. Elowith, the card-digging planet, is 2, Iridial Healing is 3, Taurus, the unit count planet, is 4, and then Random Discard is 5. Corvus decided to keep his opening hand, so Sam, what do you think about that?
Well, it's going to be an interesting game. You can win it on blue in 3, or red, or green in 4, so looks like Kith's coming out swinging here with the Wild Rider Vipers. Corvus has got the Tempest Blade. He's got a Devastator. I understand why he wants to keep in case the Palace or the Den come out. You want to have those guys there, not to mention Drop Pod, Tempest Blade, all good things. He's got a couple 2-shielders. And there we see the Tempest Blade.
Right, so that may help facilitate an early game bloodying of Packmaster Kith. I've got to say I'm not used to seeing Kith running Wild Rider Vipers, no kind of elite, let alone something like that. So a nice mobile unit to threaten planets 1 and 3. And if either of these Warlords takes a fair bit of early game damage, just bear in mind, Iridial, the healing planet, is number 3. And Kith has got a couple copies of Suffering. But I don't know, man. Corvus kept a really interesting hand here. He's got a lot of shields, a drop pod assault. Tac squad is great. That area effect is invaluable, but I can only imagine that he is... I guess both of our players are probably hoping that they draw into economy units.
Yeah, I mean, he kept 3 relics in his opening hand. I guess he needs the shields, but, the only thing that 2 shields is going to save from getting wiped out from a hit from that Wild Rider is Cato himself. If he plays the Tac Squad or the Devastators, they're both going to get killed. He's got no Indomitables in hand to save himself with.
Sure, and Drop Pod Assault is totally unreliable. I guess we'll have to see what exactly our players decide to do. We're currently waiting on Kith's move, so let's wait a moment and see what Kith decides to do.
The interesting thing here is that Kith spent a lot of money when she deployed first, so... dlord's going to have time to kind of decide... Corvus is going to have time to decide what he wants to do here. I mean, it's probably going to be tough for dlord to get out more than 1 copy of Suffering, if any, of this round, because I think, Corvus can kind of stall here. Well, he's going to play a unit here, it looks like, on his next move. So we'll have to see what dlord does first.
Right. I think the best Corvus could kind of hope for is like a Tac Squad and then a promotion, but dlord's fresh out of resources with that Incubus Warrior being played out to planet number 4.
Wouldn't it surprise me to see Corvus just pass right here and head over to Taurus?
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like... I guess I'm wondering what exactly dlord's thought process was there, because Taurus is going to be a great destination for Cato in the first place, and if you're going to throw an army unit at that planet, do you think he's maybe intending to send Kith to the same planet to create a Chimera token and try to overwhelm Cato with damage?
Could be. He's got to be thinking Corvus probably isn't going to go to 1. I mean, even though he's got a 2-shielder, dlord knows he's got no 3-shielder in hand. Now, granted, you could have an Indomitable, but Right now, it looks like dlord either going to have to go to one himself to like lock down that win, or like you say, go to Taurus, ensure the command win, and try to scare him off. But with all the 2 shields that Corvus has, I think he can beat through Kith at that planet.
Yeah. What I think is going to be really tricky is, like, let's say Kith does go to planet number 4 and Cato also shows up at planet number 4. If Cato kills that Incubus Warrior, it's still going to be like 2 units for Kith versus 1 of Cato, and he's going to be able to win at that planet. But the instant he, say, plays his tack squad at that planet to increase his odds, okay, so he's dropping out of tack squad. I was going to say the players are going to hit unit equality pretty quickly. dlord passes, and now what exactly are we going to see?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. I think Corvus has got an interesting choice. If I was him, I'd be tempted to go to Taurus and make at least $1, maybe 3 more. Well, no, because he's got the tax squad out now. So
Yeah,
it's going to be tricky. Kith's going to have to decide if she's going to put a Chimera token into play or not,
Sure.
if he goes there.
and the nice thing, yeah, is dlord is going to have the information about where Cato is sent before she has to make that decision. So, interesting move with the tack squad. Certainly, Cato could always use additional cards. So maybe he's not going to be going for Taurus after all, but if that's the case, like, planet number 1 is extremely low value. Planet number 2, if he wants to try and assassinate that Wild Rider Viper, that's not going to be easy to do. It could even run away if it wanted to. So,
Yeah, I don't know. If I was Corvus, I would just be thinking about or worrying about if I show up at 1, 2, or 3 and Kith also shows up there, she's on initiative with herself, a token, and a big 5 swinging unit that's going to hit first.
Right. So maybe Cato goes to 4 just to try to kill off that Incubus Warrior. I guess Kith isn't really going to want to go to Barless, but she'll have initiative, and it's not going to be the end of the world for her to chew through a simple 1/3. Drop Pod Assault is indeed a thing, but it just seems like there's so much that could happen. And the nice thing about being a spectator and commentator is it's the players that get to make these hard decisions here.
That's right, and we get to see their hands.
Certainly makes it a little bit easier. Yes, so this is unexpected. Imperial Fists Devastators at 2. It's a 4/3. It does not destroy a location trait support card, but it's sitting out there with 2 command icons. And now maybe Cato will show up at that planet just to make sure that he can steal that card bonus. But
he may even put
not.
promotion on that thing, but man, I would have been hesitant to drop that without a palace or a den in play.
Yeah, I guess I'll be really curious to see how many additional copies of that Corvus has in his deck. I would assume only 1, because, it doesn't really synergize with Drop Pod Assault.
Yeah, maybe he's got 2, perhaps, but the interesting thing is that, that can't survive a swing from the Wild Rider Viper.
Right. Even, I guess, yeah, even with the assistance of one of those Iron Halos discarded. Maybe. I mean, Cato's going pretty hard for those card bonuses. Maybe he's just hoping and praying to draw into an Indomitable, but something tells me that Corvus is a sufficiently high enough caliber player where he's not, praying for the heart of the cards to work out for him.
He did not play the promotion, so they're just going to tie there.
Right.
Interesting here. Interesting play there. But what the hell do I know? Corvus is a better player than me, so.
Yeah, I think most people could probably say that, but Corvus has decided where he wants to send his Warlord, and we're currently waiting on dlord. All right, so Kith has also chosen her destination, and let us see our players reveal their respective dials. I wait with bated breath to see where our warlords are going to be sent. Just hit that F8 and let's flip these dials, and then let's resolve some command struggles. dlord confirms that he's done. I believe Corvus is confirmed as well. So it is going to be Taurus for Cato, and it's going to be Barless for Kith. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Bit of a bummer. We did not see a promotion at planet number 2 for Corvus. And we've got a Chimera token being generated, which is interesting. So it's currently 3 units to 4, but of course the instant Cato kills that Incubus Warrior, it's going to be 3 to 3.
All right, so 2 cards for dlord, no resources, and then looks like Corvus is going to get 1 and 1. He draws into a Blood Angel Veteran, it looks like.
Yeah. So dlord does have a copy of Raid. Corvus has got 1 resource, and if ever, well, not that this is necessarily the ideal time, but when you can steal the last resource from a Space Marine, it's nice to play knowing that you can shut off their Indomitable option.
Yeah, what else did he draw? A copy of Razor Wings, it looks like?
Yeah, Murder of Razor Wings to do the old random card discard thing.
Right, so it looks like dlord's thinking about mobile. Does he want to go over there and win that planet number 1? I would be awfully tempted to if I was him. There he goes.
Looks like he does decide to do that, so it could be as early as a Planet 3 victory for Kith. Something tells me that a Talisarian Tempest Blade wielding Captain Cato Sicarius is going to be able to block, just a sweeping, crushing loss here. There's no trigger, to no one's surprise. Well, I mean, I guess I'm surprised that Kith has Wild Rider Vipers in her deck, but definitely not advantageous to trigger Yvonne versus Space Marines. And now we're going to have battle breaking out at Taurus. So Cato nicely cleans up that Incubus Warrior. Absolutely nothing that it could have done to resist that effect. That's going to be +1 resource. We've not seen Raid used yet. Perhaps Kith is just hanging on to that as shields, or for when it's going to make a much bigger difference. And 3 versus 3 is no trigger there. And now let's see what happens at Barless.
Wonder if he'll try for the early pressure with this drop pod. I would be tempted not to myself, but Corvus may very well want to. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to pay really rapt attention to action windows, just because that Raid could shut off the possibility for a drop pod assault. The Chimera token swings first, 2 points of damage on Tactical Squad Cardenas. Currently, dlord does not have enough resources where Corvus has to worry about an Archon's Terror or Clavex Warleader, God forbid. So now it's going to be that Tac Squad maybe managing to clear out that Chimera token.
Maybe. He's got plenty of shields, though, so we'll see.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I'm not really sure how much value a lone token has, but I guess if you can outnumber Space Marines, that's really going to help put you on the fast track to beating them. Okay, so dlord indicates no action, and that is going to be a drop pod assault prior to Tactical Squad Cardenas using its attack. So interesting that we saw that order of operations. And it's going to be an Honored Librarian, so could you hope for anything better in this situation? I'm not so sure. And it's going to be Cato's opportunity to swing. So, dlord's got 3 different 2 shield value cards. I can only imagine that Corvus is not counting on that, but he's got a hell of a lot of shields himself.
Yeah, he's still got 2 shielders. He can keep that Tac Squad alive for a long time.
For sure. And, yeah, I mean, between trying to preserve that Chimera token, trying to preserve Packmaster Kith, looks like that may end up being a battle lost for Kith. But she's currently taking a swing of 4. There's no more opportunity for Raid to steal a resource. And there we go. There's that copy of Suffering. That's going to be 2 points of damage to Packmaster Kith. And now I can only imagine we'll see an Iron Halo used to block this Tac Squad Cardenas here. Corvus indicates no action. Kith exhausts. She does swing. There's that first copy of Iron Halo. It's going to protect the Tac Squad Cardenas, and now it's going to be Kith's opportunity to, I guess, take one right to the grill. We've got a promotion. We've got two value shield cards. This is looking like it's presenting a really difficult situation for Kith, and if Cato can manage to wall off Iridial, then things are going to look pretty decent for him. That copy of Promotion is discarded to preserve the fragile body of that Chimera token. And Kith takes a 3rd point of damage. So this is where it gets interesting. Into the combat round, is Kith going to stay, or is she going to retreat?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know if Corvus could, even if he wins this battle, can he wall off Iridial? I mean, he's got the Blood Angel Veteran and Initiative on the next turn. So we'll have to see. But let's see if dlord stays here. I mean, we know that Corvus is out of 2 shield cards besides the 1 remaining Iron Halo, so he can only block 1 attack, 1 fatal, a lethal attack to this tack squad.
Right.
He could keep the Honored Librarian alive with the promotion as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, I suppose just doing the math real quick. Like, let's say Chimera Token swings, Tack Squad ditches Iron Halo so it lives, then the Tack Squad fires, Chimera Token dies, Kith takes maybe a point of damage. But then if she takes a point of damage, she'll be at the threshold where the Honored Librarian can bloody her. So if the Chimera Token doesn't kill the Tack Squad, maybe I'm doing the math wrong.
Well, I mean, all dlord's got left is two shielders, so he's going to swing at the tack. If he stays, he'll swing at the tack squad, and he is going to stay with both. So he's going to swing here. Corvus is going to shield it. He'll then do an AoE of 1, I imagine.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I guess he could take his pick, really, but Kith's going to have to waste a 2 shield when she might only need a 1 shield.
Right, and there's that second 2 shielder, so now it doesn't really matter the order too much, but is it going to be the Tactical Squad, or is it going to be the Honored Librarian? Corvus does use the Area Effect 1, and is dlord going to let that Chimera Token die? I suppose what his options are is he could use a shield now on Kith. Kith stays at 3. Kith takes an attack from the Honored Librarian, and then she can ditch another shield card to be at 1 hit point. But then if everybody stays, well, I guess Kith will have another attack.
It was an interesting play. I would have swung on Kith with the Librarian. She could have shielded, 2, putting her at 5. And then, that kind of would have forced her to run away. And then you could have killed the Chimera with the AoE, probably. Yeah. So it was kind of an interesting order, because I imagine dlord's just going to run away.
Right. I mean, yeah, Chimera Token is dead. Kith is at 2 HP remaining, and she hightails it away from that planet. And now let's see what this forced random card discard is. Oh, it's the Warlock Destructor. Man, that's a really powerful unit to be throwing away at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And he's not probably going to be able to play Raid on his next turn, since they're both going to be at 4 resources, and Corvus will have initiative to deploy first.
All right, so as we go through our HQ phase, I do have to apologize. It looks like I still accidentally had some of my proxies loaded. So you see an 8th Company Assault Squad here. Rest assured, this is actually Veteran Brother Maxos. So sincerest apologies to you, dear viewers. Totally my bad, but it's a 3-cost 2-command icon, 2/3, and as a combat action, you can pay the cost of a Space Marine unit in your hand to put it into play at Maxos' planet. So the art isn't going to match up, but again, I apologize. That's what I get for proxying. It was bound to happen at some point.
Well, the interesting thing here as we go into this turn is Corvus has got these 2 units stranded out there on Barless, and I don't know if the game will necessarily reach that point. I mean, I guess if Corvus can win either Iridial or Taurus, it may eventually stretch to that point. But we'll have to see what he's going to do here. I imagine he's going to play a Blood Angel at Iridial. Yeah. Just to keep Kith at bay, so to speak.
So he does have 2 Blood Angels vets currently. I suppose an HQ phase means both of our players are at 4 resources. They each drew a couple of cards off the top of their deck. Looks like it was a copy of Samehan Kinsman for dlord. A nice little 2/2, albeit exclusively at a green planet, and there are 3 options thereof. We've got a second copy of Raid, but of course, as it's a limited card, you can only do one of those per round. So we could see the Samehan, and the Razor Wings, and the Void Pirate. Okay, so Corvus, shutting off that raid possibility, he straight away drops off Blood Angels Veterans, but it looks like it's going to be sitting at Planet 3. So maybe he's going to send Cato to Planet 2 just to ensure that Kith isn't going to be able to heal.
That's what I was thinking now, because that's actually a good play, because we were concentrating on blocking Iridial, but he probably does want to block Taurus, because he's obviously got more units than she's going to be able to put out. You know, she could play a copy of Suffering on the Devastators or the Blood Angels, and that might mess up, you know, Corvus's plans as to where he wants to commit. Because if I had to guess right now, Corvus probably would like to commit to Iridial and try to win Elowith, you know, with the Devastators by themselves.
Right, right. So this is kind of a tricky position that Kith is finding herself in, just because wherever she ends up going, there's a really strong likelihood that a pretty damn powerful Space Marine is going to be sitting at the opposite side of that planet, ready to bloody her. She is going to be able to generate a Chimera token still, but Cato's got Planet 4 pretty well walled off, so far as Kith knows, because of that, you know, 2 command icons and 2 units sitting there, and if Cato keeps possibly generating resources, if he's got a bunch of cards, things are looking pretty okay to be that Space Marine.
I wonder if dlord puts Suffering on the Devastators, if Corvus would still go to Iridial. I mean, I would think with, you know, you put 4 damage on Kith in the first turn, you want to keep that pressure on.
Right.
I don't think winning Elowith is worth it. Now, granted, that would give dlord 2 blue icons, but the next blue icon is not until Planet 6, which just came up this turn as Aatrox Prime. So maybe you just think that you can kind of maybe steamroll through green on, you know, Iridial, Taurus, and Barlas, or... Oh, and there comes the Murderer Razorwings right there, putting down on Planet 2.
Yeah, well, let's see what has to happen. I suppose it's a copy of Promotion that was removed. So, I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make. That copy of Murderer...
Well, Corvus says, well, okay then, and he immediately passes.
Yeah, so that Murder of Razorwings is currently sitting at Iridial, but it's no command icons. I guess, is that like trying to lure Cato to that planet?
Yeah, maybe so. We'll have to see what dlord does with his final 3 resources. I would imagine it would be... What he could do is play the Void Pirate, the Samhan Kinsman, the Suffering, and then 1 copy of Raid.
Yeah.
And then he'd still have a 2 Shielder in hand. But I don't know if he wants to dump his whole hand in that fashion necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like if Cato shows up at 2 and Kith shows up at 2, if you're Cato, may as well bloody Kith and then just run away or something, and not have to deal with that Wild Rider Viper. But I guess Planet 1, if Kith shows up there, she, without playing Suffering on the Imperial Fist's Devastators, she will risk being bloodied. I don't know.
The interesting thing is there's not a lot of resources out there to be had. I mean, Corvus is probably going to win 1 at Taurus, and, you know, maybe we'll see dlord stick this Void Pirate down at Aatrox Prime to win 1, but, I mean, those are the only resources available on the board, so...
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Oh, here comes the Samhan Kinsman. Where's he going to put that? All right.
Opposite the Blood Angels Veterans, and there's a Void Pirate as well. Is it going to be at Planet 5? Yes, it is. So, Cato is going to be very tempted to go to Planet number 5, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see Kith necessarily go to 5 and just blast the Librarian and Tax Squad, I guess.
Yeah, perhaps so. I think without playing the Suffering, now that dlord has passed, that pretty much rules out Elowith for him.
Right.
So, I don't know, I gotta think, if you're Cato, you gotta go to Iridial. I mean, let's say Kith goes to, you know, Taurus and manages to, you know, shield out all the, well, at least shield out, I suppose, 2 of the 3 hits that could come from that Blood Angel. I don't know if she'd really be able to trigger it at that point. So, it's going to be interesting. Looks like Corvus is choosing.
Yeah, and we're just currently waiting on a dlord to make his choice. Both players have at this point passed. So just in regard to shields, we've got a trio of 2 shield cards for Kith. Both players are currently tied in regard to resources. But it is looking like Kith is going to be pulling ahead because of that Void Pirate at Aatrox Prime. But of course, Corvus doesn't have anything relevant to combat to use, but that could certainly change at any time. And even just having one Indomitable could change things pretty radically. Like if Kith and Cato were to both go to planet number 2, Cato could bloody Kith, Cato could ready up, and if the Wild Rider Viper stayed, it would be, dealing damage to that unit. Then Indomitable would block off 5, and then you could kill it or force it to retreat. So one really powerful event like that can make a hell of a difference. So
yeah, and it looks like Corvus is probably going to be getting anywhere from 2 to 5 cards, depending on where he sends Cato here.
yeah. So I think we can agree Kith doesn't want to go to planet number 1, probably doesn't want to go to planet number 2, just because that's likely a death trap. Planet number 4 would probably be not a great choice either. And then 5, maybe.
She could go to 4 just to steal command, assuming that Cato's probably not going to 4. She would have initiative, and then she could mobile her Wild Rider over to planet 3.
Right.
And then just retreat. I mean, she has to decide, is gaining 2 and then getting 1 discarded worth it? But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, dlord is done.
And it might be more valuable just to make sure that Cato doesn't get those cards than anything.
Correct.
But let us see. I think both players are done. Corvus has not changed his skull. So we are waiting on Sea Dog. And he's still choosing. I cannot help but think no one's probably ever called Corvus Sea Dog before.
Well, probably not, but we'll see here. I gotta think he's got to go to Iridial. I mean, you got to keep the pressure on. Don't want to overthink it and not go there, because Kith won't go there, and then have Kith go there. So we'll see.
Well, so it's going to be Planet 5 for Cato and Planet 1 for Kith. So absolutely fascinating. Let's see who wins what. Kith is going to have initiative at 1, and she's going to craft a Chimera token for herself as well. So what is it looking to be? For Kith, it's going to be 2 cards. And then for Cato, it's going to be 3 cards and a resource, and another resource when that Void Pirate dies. So Kith, Wild Rider Squadron, and Rogue Trader.
Corvus picks up Drop Pod Assault, Tac Squad, and an Earth Case Technician.
And even though Corvus is at the Drop Pod Assault threshold, thanks to this copy of Raid, that could change at any time, because it's dlord's 1 resource versus Cato's 2, and there's going to be that copy of Raid, so that's going to be a shift. So
yeah, there goes the opportunity for Drop Pod. Yep. I would imagine, though, Kith's got to run. I mean, all she's got is a 2 shielder, so she's going to have to run here and try to win it with her 2 units, which, if math works out right, she might be able to do.
Yeah. So definitely is a bummer that... Okay, is she retreating? Oh, what? So
wow.
Kith is going to be attacking here. Is she just going to be taking a bloodying, or is...
I guess she thinks she can steamroll this into a 3-planet win. She sees what's down the board with Blood Angel Veterans, with Honor Librarians, surrounded by other things. Maybe dlord's just thinking, take the bloody, and, next turn I can put my Wild Rider out, I can put my Suffering out, and maybe I can just, Corvus is low on resources, maybe I can just win the game right here on Iridial.
Yeah, that's certainly a hell of a gamble, but let's see if the dlord gambit pays off. I know last season during the championship match, it was a little bit heartbreaking as dlord very much ran out of steam, and then he ended up being smothered. I think it was a Broderick War that just crushed his... Old One Eye, and that is going to be a bloodied Packmaster Kith. So she is just a 1/5, but Corvus does not have enough for a Drop Pod Assault. It's now going to be this Chimera token with the opportunity to kill this Imperial Fist's Devastators. That's going to be a second blue icon for Kith, and further, it's going to be her opportunity to look through her deck for some, like, Archon's Terror or something nasty.
Yeah, well, interesting. Interesting gamble. Let's see if it pays off. Corvus is going to be able to gain another dollar down here at Aatrox Prime. He did not shield with that drop pod assault. Maybe he wants to go into the next turn with 6 resources. And I would imagine when he pings the HQ, it looks like dlord's got 2 shield cards in Raid and Suffering. So I imagine he'll spend one of those on Kith, unless... I was going to say, the thing is he doesn't want to take Kith somewhere too far from the fight because he wants to be able to shift his Wild Riders over to Iridial if he is indeed going for this, 1-2-3 victory.
Well, and Kith also has that. Well, shit, I guess Cato is going to be able to fire Aatrox Prime at Kith's HQ.
Correct.
And yeah, so Kith is going to have to shield that Chimera token if she even wants to keep that alive. So Slith Mercenary was moved to hand. It's pretty
from Eloith, yeah.
Little combat unit, I guess.
Yeah, maybe he's going to use it as a 2-2 for 1. I think if I was dlord, I wouldn't shield any of this damage because he's not going to send Kith to Iridial, I don't think.
Sure, that seems
I don't think. I think what he could do is send Kith to Taurus next turn. Who cares about the Chimera? And then you shift your Viper over. And it does look like he's taking the damage. He's thinking about shielding that Chimera.
Right, and the Chimera is destroyed. Kith is chilling it to mere 4 hit points remaining. Yeah, so this is a very dangerous game here. This BAV at 2. It's just a whole lot of nasty Space Marine stuff that could quite handily end up killing Packmaster Kith, and that would be GG. So another HQ phase, 4 resources, 2 cards for each player. Kith draws a pair of signature cards, Chimera Den. Last couple times I've seen this drawn, it has been about worthless, because I'm seeing no Chimera tokens, Sam.
No Chimera tokens and no Chimera Masters in hand. Looks like Corvus drew an Exterminatus, which won't be any use other than a shield probably in this turn.
Right.
And then he drew an Eager Recruit. So he's at 6 resources. He could easily play a Blood Angel Vet, Attack Squad, and then, maybe he'd have enough money for a drop pod, assuming he wins the I was going to say the resource on Iridial, but Iridial is just a card, so I misspoke. We'll see. Oh, there he goes. He's going to try to win command down there.
So it's our new last planet 7 or 5, whatever you want to call it. That's Earthcast Technician sitting at Farron the Route, a non-Warlord unit planet. That's going to be an opportunity, a likely to whiff opportunity for Corvus to look at the top 6.
Oof.
Yeah, didn't find anything, but I suppose that is kind of what happens when you've already used 2 Iron Halos and you've already found your Tempest Blade.
Correct. Yeah, he was probably just hoping for the 2 resources and hoping for the for command and then hoping to find a shield.
Right.
Which he did not do.
Yeah, so let's see what happens, but a couple of resources is potentially going to be another copy of Drop Pod Assault. We've already seen one. Corvus has got 34 cards remaining in deck, so he's quite unlikely to end up stumbling upon another copy of that. But for Kith, there we've got that Wild Rider Squadron, and it's a bit unfortunate that first of all, it's smart to play that at planet number 2, so you're going to be winning command, potentially at that planet. And now, depending on where Cato goes, you can decide if you're actually likely to maybe win the battle at planet number 1 or not.
Yeah, the problem here for dlord is that if he can't win Iridial, his win condition planet as it sits, his blue tech win condition is after, Cato can win on green with planets 1, 2, and 3. So I don't know. Boy, it's going to be tough. He's got the Wild Rider Squadron and the Viper, but all Corvus needs to do here is play a copy of Blood Angel Veterans. I'd get that out before Pact of the Homunculi came out.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I guess we've yet to see Raid used, and that's the only way we'd be able to enable Pact of the Homunculi. But there's that Razor Wings that's essentially useless.
The other thing that might be interesting, he could be thinking about playing Exterminatus right now, just to get rid of that Wild Rider. Yeah.
And he's, not winning command at that planet, so that would not be the worst move in the world.
Yeah, he could maybe play the TAC Squad. I mean, again, he doesn't know that dlord's sitting on another copy of Raid, But if he played that tax squad, he could think to himself, well, I still have 3 resources left for my Blood Angel Vet or my Exterminatus, depending on what I want to do.
Looks
and here comes...
like it's the Blood Angel.
Looks like it's the Blood Angel to Iridial.
Yep. So let's see what's going to happen here. I know man... I guess if it were me, I would really not want to send Cato to planet number 1. I would so want to go to planet number 4, but there's that other copy of Rage, so that is going to be Corvus down to 1 resource, and...
So Corvus could maybe play Pack of Homoculi, but I think what he's more likely to do is play the Slith Merc and then put the Suffering on the Blood Angel Vet. That could mess up the combat math.
It certainly could, and with the Wild Rider Squadron, with the... with a Wild Rider Squadron and the Wild Rider Viper, that combo could be a lot for Corvus to deal with. I guess in regard to command and whatnot, he'll be winning a card at number 1, some cards at 3, and maybe a couple of resources at 5, unless we see that copy of Slith Mercenary played out to there. So it's looking like Corvus is going to have enough for Eager Recruit, but not for Tax Squad not enough for the Drop Pod Assault.
Here comes the Slith Merc. Oh, and he puts it there on cards.
Interesting.
So he's going to give potentially... Yeah, he's got no other units to play out there at Farron. And I can't imagine he's sending Kith all the way to Farron. He needs that Wild Rider Viper around. So it looks like dlord will come out with $3, which is enough for the Drop Pod and the Eager Recruit.
And by dlord, you mean Corvus.
Oh, but I'm sorry about that.
Let us see where our players send their warlords. I can only imagine we'll see Cato number 1. Kith decides to go to number 5.
5. Ooh.
Intriguing.
So she does want to block off the command, but... Ooh, man. He could drop that Eager Recruit in there and smack her for 2. Granted, she does have another 2 shielder in hand, but... making her burn through those shields.
Well, Kith certainly fared quite a lot better than did Cato in regard to command, but now it's just all going to be up to, is Kith going to be able to overcome this mountain of bodies that the Space Marines are piling onto the table here? Iridial being won by Cato is going to mean this tax squad is going to have 2 points of damage pulled off of it at Corvus's win condition. Corvus got 1 card, a promotion, no resources. Kith dissimilarly got 5 resources, a Chimera Master, and another copy of Raid. Good God.
Well, that Raid at this point is probably not good for much more than 2 shields.
Yeah. Right, since we're going to be sitting at 6 resources versus soon to be 2. Still, irritating to see so many damn 2-shielders.
Right. So it looks like Kith has drawn through 18 cards. Corvus has drawn through 17 cards.
So no mobile at all.
No mobile at all. All right.
Now that Wild Rider Viper might be an okay target for an Exterminatus. I guess we'll have to see what happens here.
Yeah.
It could, be a lot of different stuff. So no mobile whatsoever. This Wild Rider squadron could certainly swoop over to 1 at any time and flail uselessly, die, and then the Space Marine player could heal away damage from it. So I feel like they're pretty safe there. Murder of Razor Wings is about to be blown up, and that'll be +1 resource for Cato.
And that, I think, was the right move there. I mean, you obviously want to save your Armor Bane damage in case that Wild Rider scoots on over.
Right, definitely. So, let us see. Corvus indicates that he is done, and is that going to be a first planet captured for Corvus? Just like you said, Kith's earliest possible victory condition is now going to be located at planet number 4. Iridial is going to pull 2 points of damage off of the tactical squad Cardenas. So, in the grim darkness of the far future, looks like their healing technology works pretty well.
Better than the healing technology of Spirit Seer or Rathel, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think if I lost 67% of my blood or something, I'd probably be in pretty poor shape. So who knows?
You gotta wonder if Corvus is tempted to use this drop pod right now.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine the temptation is very real. I guess 6 resources for Kith and 5 cards, you've got to be thinking, what's the likelihood of an Archon's Terror in the first 18 cards of the deck? Pretty good. I suppose that's one luxury that players have on Octagon that they don't have in real life. You can pretty clearly figure out the probabilities there.
It looks like Corvus was waiting a minute to decide if he wanted to shield the the Earthcast Technician with that promotion, because then he could have hit Kith for one more, and then maybe drop pot it in. And he's gonna pass. He's gonna let it go. It's probably a smart play.
Yep. Slow and safe. And Kith is going to end up routing the Blood Angels veterans away from planet number 1, so it's going to be a Wild Riders squadron and a Samehan. Okay, no. Looks like the Wild Rider squadron is going to be shifting away from soon-to-be 1 to 2, and that's going to be 3 command icons blocking off Cato from potentially drawing a couple of cards there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a smart play because you want to be able to move him back over to Taurus if Taurus is going to be a battle that Kith wants fighting.
Yeah. So we've gone through another HQ phase now. 2 cards, 4 resources for each. Crushing Blow and Sicarius is chosen for Corvus, and for dlord sitting at a whopping 10 resources. Looks like Agonizer of Bren and I believe another Slith Mercenary.
Well, the 3 shielder's good. He might find himself needing that at some point in this game now that he's only got 4 HP left.
Corvus.
And it looks like promotion from Corvus.
Mm-hmm. So that is going to be 4 command icons versus 3. It's pretty much impossible for Corvus to buy control of that Slith Mercenary at this point. But I guess what does even Kith have? A Mercenary and the Chimera Masters. And then the Chimera Den, which is going to be about the most ineffectual card on the planet. We've got Pact of the Homunculi, though. But Corvus does have kind of a glut of cards in hand. Interestingly enough, we see the Chimera Masters at 4, and now I'm kind of wondering if Corvus is going to be pretty tempted to use Exterminatus. He would be able to clear out 7 resources worth of dudes.
Yeah, it's got to be tempting. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's not terribly relevant, but
we see dlord's hand. He doesn't have much to fight with if he wants to battle at Planet 1, especially now that it's going to be Cato's initiative. But of course, Corvus doesn't know that, so Corvus can't just blow 3 resources on Exterminatus at this point just to clear out some shit that's at the very final, planet.
Sure.
But he's got to be tempted to.
Yeah, and I mean, that's totally irrelevant to combat, of course. I guess this is tricky. Like, Cato could show up at planet number 1 and probably win all by himself. It's a bummer that those Blood Angels veterans are going to be showing up exhausted. That Wild Rider squadron can move in, throw some damage on Cato, but 31 cards left in his deck. He's got to be getting close to those Indomitables. Again, I have to apologize, my dear viewers, at planet number 3, that is Veteran Brother Maxos, not 8th Company Assault Squad. So at any point, Corvus can pay the cost of a Space Marine unit to put it into play at Maxos' planet, and that is Kith's victory condition there.
Looks like Pact of the Homunculi, he's going to sack his own Chimera Master. Looks like he's going to draw another Wild Rider squadron and a Void Pirate. Now, the funny thing here is it's Corvus's move. He got rid of the tax squad from that Pact of the Homunculi. It's a little too early. I was going to say if he could get one more deploy before dlord drops this, what I assume to be Wild Rider squadron at planet 2, then that would be a great Exterminatus target. Now, granted, he'd be taking out his own stuff, but sacrificing the Chimera Master kind of takes exterminating Farron off the board, I imagine.
Yeah, but man, oh man, 2 Wild Riders and a Slith Mercenary, 3 cards and 9 resources worth of guys. I would be very tempted to blow that right up.
It wouldn't surprise me if he played the Chosen at Aatrox Prime. He could still win command there with 3 icons to 2 by dragging that Wild Rider over. And then later, if dlord moves that Wild Rider over to Farron, that could be an Exterminatus target for the next round.
What's tricky, though, like, let's say Wild Rider gets pulled from 2 to 3. If we see the Wild Rider move to 3, then it can, move along with the Wild Rider back to 2. And if we were to see another Wild Rider like at 2, then theoretically we could see the Viper move from currently 4 all the way to 1, if that Sicarius' Chosen drags the squad at 2 to Planet 3.
Yeah. Interesting here, Corvus passes. He must want to use his money for the drop pod and the eager recruit. He's also got that crushing blow. I mean, if he goes where Kith goes, it's game over right now. Because he can hit Kith for 4 armor bane damage, which would end the game.
Right. So that is going to be a hell of a thing, and, definitely Cato's got to be thinking about that. So, it's obviously not a 25% chance, 1 out of 4, but I did not think about that, but you are completely right. That would definitely take all of our, strategizing out of the window if it's just like, oh, GG.
The thing is, he'd have to be pretty ballsy to give up Taurus.
Yes. Because,
that's going to give dlord 2 of each color, just for a shot in the dark at hunting Kith down. He's probably smart to just hang on to that crushing blow. He's going to hunt her down eventually.
And there's that Wild Rider squadron.
There's that Wild
and this is
Rider
after
squadron.
Corvus is passed, but we're currently at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for Kith. dlord, like a proper sir, takes a couple deploy actions to readjust the size of our screen, so I appreciate that. And we're currently at 6 units for Cato, but he may have to fight a hell of a battle here at 1 to be able to deal with all of this garbage, just because those Wild Riders pose quite the menace. And at the moment, it's 4 command icons versus 4 command icons at 2. So I wonder if we'll see Cato go to 1. I suppose that's where I just assume, but where are you thinking it's likely for Kith to go?
I think Kith is probably going to go to either 2 or 5. I think at 2... Oh, well, looks like dlord still got one more deploy action left, and he's just thinking about where to drop this guy. I mean, they're both at 4 command at Barlas. I could see him going there. But again, if he shows up opposite Cato, it's game over.
Yeah. So if Cato were to go to 4, he'd be dropping off units. Let's see here. He's got one of each icon, so potentially... Well, it could be... Corvus could send Cato to 4 and kill that Wild Rider squadron just attacking on initiative. Cato could go to 1, and he'd have to kill the same Han Kinsman. Then the 2 Wild Riders could swap over and potentially threaten to kill those BAVs.
It looks like he's going to go for the command win at Barlas, which makes me think he's not sending Kith there. But it wouldn't surprise me to actually see Corvus send Kith to Barlas. He's got initiative. He could take out one of the Wild Riders, no question. Oh, and there's Chimeradin.
Yeah, to relocate that one little lonely Chimera token. And our screen is readjusted a 3rd time for anyone keeping track. All right, so it's all going to come down to this, I guess. Is Kith going to shit the bed, or, put more nicely, is Corvus going to employ next-level strategy to hunt down our Packmaster? So I think it's probably... I wouldn't be shocked to see Cato go to planet number 1, but I think it'd be a bit of a poor life choice for Kith to do the same. Kith has currently got 5 command icons versus 4 at 2, but she could also show up there to guarantee that she wins command on that planet. But if that's the case, if Cato shows up at 2, she's going to be automatically dead. She could try to flip command at 3. I don't know if that's the most cool location for Cato to show up at.
I think what could be interesting is if she... After this turn, assuming Kith survives this turn, she can move those Wild Riders over to Aatrox Prime to be ready to win. Let's assume she wins Planet 1 here. Then she can move those Wild Riders over to be ready to win at Barlas next turn, and then you could exterminate that planet.
I mean, that would be like a play of the century right there, killing off 9 resources and 3 cards worth of units when you yourself have got a...
Ooh!
a unique at that
All
planet.
right.
So Kith went for that just sweeping command, struggle, victory, and if dlord manages to win this one, this is going to be a very well-deserved victory, so I'll be very curious to see what exactly happens here. This is just going to be Cato winning command on 1 planet. Kith is going to win command on 3 planets, plus a Void Pirate, plus a Rogue Trader. And I think it's all going to come down to, is Cato going to be able to weather the storm here?
Looks like dlord wins 4 cards: Murder Razor Wings, Bloodied Reavers, another Chimera Master, and a Void Pirate, as well as $4. Corvus just gets the $1 and a copy of 10th Company Command Scout, which isn't good for much.
Not terribly useful there. Interestingly enough, I'll just mention it, for some odd reason, you always add a command to the title of that unit. I've just never mentioned that to you before, but...
You're right, I sure do.
But anyways.
Well, in my mind, he's only good for command, so...
Right. So anyways, on to things that matter. We've got mobile going on. So if Corvus ends up winning at planet number 1 and planet number 2 the following round, that's going to be the game for him. But there's certainly a large number of Wild Rider squadrons between Cato and victory here.
Boy, I bet no matter what the results of Planet 1 are, I would think Corvus would be tempted to go for the Bloody on Kith at Aatrox, but 2 shields, 3 shields.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to the action here at Taurus.
So
Looks
Eager
like
Recruit is going to be the initial attack. It's going to be able to attack for 2, and that is going to force Kith to throw away a shield card. Note that Kith has only got 2+ shield value cards remaining to preserve the same Han Kinsman, and it looks like that was going to be a copy of Suffering discarded just to preserve this little 2/2 Kinsman.
what he wants to do is force Cato to swing before the Wild Riders move over.
Right.
Yeah.
But Corvus also does have a pocket drop pod assault if he need employ it. And Crushing Blow plus Tempest Blade does result in a dead Wild Rider Viper. So even though I really think things could kind of go either way here. I mean, it's not like Corvus can't handle what Kith is bringing to bear, and, it's like Kith stands on the edge of a knife, and if she strays but a little, she could find herself sliced apart by a chainsword, I guess. But same Han Kinsman exhausts. Is it going to be attacking Cato or a Blood Angels veterans? Okay, it does not exhaust. You've got to attack something. This is how the game of Conquest is played. I guess worth noting is dlord's got too many resources to use Raid, but Climax Warleader is not a thing. I know that Corvus must be highly concerned right now about the existence of a Climax Warleader, and I suppose that's another nice thing about being the commentator is I don't have to sweat bullets that I'm playing against a DE player with 4 resources.
Yeah, we haven't seen it. We've gone through over half the deck, and we haven't seen a Climax or a Terror.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's packing all those. I did hear that dlord runs a very unconventional Kith deck.
Well, we are certainly seeing a very unconventional Kith deck. Not that I am a betting person, but I think if we've seen 26 cards and no Climax, no Archon's Terror, he's either got to be running 2 copies at most, or more likely he's just maybe not running them. All the same, though, man, Climax Warleader, I hear it's a pretty damn decent value card, so interesting that he's going with Squadrons, I suppose, in that 4-drop slot, and just focusing more on command.
This is tough. Corvus, I understand he doesn't want to give dlord 2 of each icon, but the problem is, if he exhausts with Cato, he's going to have to blow all his good cards like Exterminatus and Crushing Blow and Drop Pod to shield the damage that they can put out.
Right.
If those Wild Riders shift over. So,
and I guess even if Cato were to use Drop Pod to make sure that Cato doesn't himself have to attack, even an Honored Librarian, we could have that, Agonizer Bren discarded, and then that would be a living same Han Kinsman. Then Cato would be forced to exhaust or retreat.
Yeah, the other problem, too, is even if he uses the Drop Pod to attempt to kill the Kinsman, and I say that because dlord's got 3 shields. Dlord can move that Chimera token.
Oh
over.
yes.
And still wait for Cato to swing before he moves over 2 copies of his Wild Riders. So, gonna be tough.
Yeah, so let's pause for a moment and let dlord decide. Okay, so the same Han Kinsman exhausts, and it does attack Captain Cato Sicarius. That is 2 points of damage to our Space Marine, Ultramarines Chapter Warlord, and that is going to be a dead same Han Kinsman. In return, that is now 4 resources for Corvus. Of course, he does not miss the opportunity to trigger that response. No action for Corvus. Are we going to see a Wild Rider move?
This is going to be tough now because he's not going to want to waste that copy of...
Guess who forgot about the ability for Wild Rider Viper to tag along? I sure did.
I did too, and I'm betting Corvus did too.
Oh, wow. That is a swing of 5. He's going to have to use the Drop Pod Assault, or otherwise his Warlord is bloodied.
His Warlord's going to be bloodied anyway, because then he's just going to swing with the token, which he can't shield.
Wow, that is rough. I had totally missed that.
As had I.
Well, unconventional Kith deck indeed. Chimera Den. I've always heard it's a pretty good card. Turns out, pretty good card. Man, this has just got to feel all the way bad for poor Corvus, because not only is that going to be a likely bloodied Space Marine, I guess he could drop it to 3, and yeah, no matter what, with what he's got in his hand, this is going to be a bloodied Cato, and even if he were to use all of his shield cards, that could still be these Wild Rider squadrons moving over and picking off these Blood Angels veterans, so it is looking like our champion Corvus here is about to find himself having a hell of a time to attempt to get back into this game. Cato is bloodied.
Yeah, and he's gone through almost half his deck and he hasn't seen an Indomitable. I mean, that's kind of a shame. But either way, Cato does still hit for 2, hits for 3 Armor Bane with the Tempest Blade. All is not lost just yet, but that was a pretty masterful play right there.
Yeah, so that looks pretty bad. It could still be Cato taking a swing and killing Packmaster Kith with Crushing Blow. Kith is going to have to play a pretty long game here. Like, let's see, Packmaster Kith, the earliest possible win. I guess if Kith picks up Planet 1 and then 2, that's the game right there, or Planet 3 is also the game, so dlord is thinking about actions.
Yeah, dlord, it's going to be interesting to see, is he going to save one of those Wild Riders to move over and kind of do the dirty work at Aatrox Prime?
Possibly. So let's see. This is going to be possibly I mean, Corvus has kind of lost his, if you want to call it, a golden window of opportunity to use Exterminatus. Now that's not looking supremely helpful.
Yeah,
I think in all of my time, I think I've commentated, maybe this is match 200 now, if not 201 or 199, really close to that. But I don't know if I've ever seen Exterminatus destroy really any significant number of units. Okay, so wait.
So Corvus played a drop pod, and then he said timing wasn't clear, and he took it back to hand. But now dlord knows he's got drop pod.
Yeah.
So she's going to be more cautious over at Aatrox Prime.
Okay, so it looks like we resolved a little bit of confusion here. What occurred was the Wild Rider Viper attacked, bloodied Captain Cato Sicarius. Then we saw Cato pass on his opportunity to take an action. He didn't have any units eligible to take a combat turn. And then, of course, it was our opportunity for our Dark Eldar player to take an action. So Chimera manages to claim the life of that poor Ego recruit. He's never going to officially, upgrade to wear his official power armor, and now Drop Pod Assault is going to be used, and hopefully the additional bit of intel that our Kith player got from knowing that a Drop Pod Assault was forthcoming. Oh, Christ. Did Corvus whiff on his Drop Pod?
He looked at his whole deck, is what he meant to do.
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, in all actuality here... Wait, no shuffle?
He's saying it's okay, you don't have to shuffle your deck.
Okay. I was just going to say, random is random. Well, I guess we did see a Drop Pod Assault a little bit earlier. But yeah, it looks like dlord is being a total proper sir, so no matter what happens, if dlord ends up winning this match, he has won my heart with his good sportsmanship. And Corvus is presenting a just fine alternative, in that he could remove the bottom 5 cards, because he did use a Drop Pod Assault earlier, and then he could shuffle his, the Earthcast Technician, but I believe there was also a Drop Pod Assault, so it would be the bottom 11 cards. Yeah, so dlord knows what's up. So, looks like they're going to be doing it officially. They're going to remove the bottom 11 cards in sequence. I think this has a very high probability for the order of these cards to get screwed up. And dlord is saying it'll just take too long. So, dlord is just saying, let's play. So, I suppose a fine pair of gentlemen here. So Corvus is looking at the top 6 cards of his deck, and I guess now that we've figured this out, it is going to be a copy of Sicarius's Chosen. So if he wants, he could ping like that Void Pirate, and he does decide to do. Why miss an opportunity to kill something? So that Void Pirate is going to be killed, and now Corvus has got a lowly 2/3 unit. I guess it could kill the Wild Rider Viper with the assistance of a Crushing Blow. It instead decides to destroy the Chimera.
dlord's going to have to think about the shield here.
And he lets it die.
He lets it die. The problem is that, dlord can move over this other Wild Rider after he attacks. I mean, he can take out potentially 2 units here. That might have been a missed opportunity to play that Drop Pod. I think he should have held on to it and played it later.
Well, Wild Rider is going to have a nice opportunity here to maybe kill a Blood Angel's Veterans. It's all going to come down to, does Corvus want to part with his Exterminatus? Does he dare part with his Crushing Blow, which may end up being his kind of like trump card that may have to be used to help him win this game? That's a dead Blood Angel's Veterans in one single swing. Do also note that Kith has got initiative, so we're going to be able to see her have the ability to attack first. Or, I'm sorry, it's going to be Cato with the initiative. So it's not going to be this Wild Rider Viper being able to kill the BAV before its opportunity to attack. So dlord is thinking whether or not he wants to move his Wild Rider Squadron from 2 to planet number 1.
I think this is a lost battle at 1. Even if he doesn't move it over, he's got a 3 shield and a 2 shield in hand. Yeah, it's going to be tough to get through for Corvus.
For sure. And Corvus has only got that copy of Crushing Blow, but you definitely don't want to throw that away against some, little enemy unit here. The more that things are kind of coming down to the wire here, the more it looks like Corvus is maybe going to have to get lucky taking a swing against Packmaster Kith, but next round he's not going to have initiative, and I guess if Kith wins at planet number 1, and then Kith could win the game at planet number 2, and that would mean that she'll have initiative next round, and if need be, Kith can use the first combat turn to retreat with the Warlord to make sure that Cato doesn't score a lucky assassination.
Yeah, I think maybe going to Taurus may have been a mistake for Corvus. I mean, again, he's a better player than me, but going in with no units ready, I feel like maybe you could have just given dlord 2 of each icon, let him win Taurus. He wouldn't have been able to trigger You could have gone to Barless, where you have an Honored Librarian and a ready tack squad. Oh, man. Tough break there with that Chimera Den play. It was pretty wicked.
Yeah, I certainly did not see that coming, and I don't know if Corvus did as well, but we've come to the end of a combat round, and our players are deciding whether or not they want to stay. It's going to be up to Corvus to decide whether or not he wants to hang out at this planet or not. For Cato, that's going to be 4, 5, 6 units versus the 6 of Kith. Corvus says probably not going to stay, but he's got to think about it. Okay, yeah. And he does decide to retreat, and that is going to be neither player with the opportunity to benefit from triggering that planet there. All right, so dlord evacuates the planet. He's going to add that to his victory display. And now he's sitting at 2 of every icon, so any additional captured planet is going to be the game for Kith. And now we're going to see Kith and a rogue trader fighting a single copy of Veteran Brother Maxos. Corvus does have 2 resources, so he could drop that 10th Company Scout at Kith's planet. Kith has got to decide what she wants to do. She's only a 1/4, and she's fighting a 2/3 unique. 4 resources for Kith tells Corvus that Archon's Terror and Climax Warleader are definitely a thing. So, if Kith basically retreats, then that's going to be Aatrox Prime firing. Okay, no, I totally forgot. Wouldn't you know it, Wild Rider Squadron is definitely going to help even the odds, if we want to call it that. A 3/4 is probably going to be able to beat the piss out of a paltry little 2/3. The Wild Rider Squadron does take a swing, and unless we see Exterminatus discarded as a shield card, that is going to be a dead copy of Veteran Brother Maxos, and certainly Kith has got enough shield cards to preserve the Wild Rider Squadron if we've got Maxos attacking for 2 and a 10th Company Scout attacking for 1. So we see Exterminatus discarded. That's only going to be 2 points of damage dealt out to Veteran Brother Maxos. And now Climax Warleader can target unique units, can't it, Sam?
Yes, it can. Yes.
Okay. So hypothetically, Climax Warleader could have destroyed this unit because Kith has the action before Corvus could use Maxos to put out that 10th Company Scout. So let's see what's going to occur here. Unfortunately, there's really no way for Maxos to assassinate Kith. dlord passes on actions, and now are we going to see the command scout or not? It's got to be a difficult decision.
Looks like he's making room for it there. Yeah. Scooting Maxos over.
Yeah, I guess if only he had a couple of copies, that would certainly help improve his odds here. Okay, so looks like he decides to attack instead. And I guess best case scenario for Maxos is, wow, is he literally going to take 2 points of damage on Kith? Because if Corvus had another copy of Crushing Blow, that would have been the game right there.
All right, so he's got to play that Crushing Blow, right? To get her to 1 point of damage?
I mean, I guess we've maybe missed... Have we missed the opportunity to?
Well, I mean, he just typed in done.
Sure. Oh, man, he's got to be thinking about it. Yeah, Corvus indicates that he's done. Man, that is an extremely ballsy play from dlord, just because... Wow, I guess risking the game just to be as efficient as possible with your shields. So Kith uses her opportunity to retreat, and now it's going to be this rogue trader's opportunity to swing. dlord indicates no action. Are we going to see Corvus drop a 10th Company Scout to that planet? It could toss a couple of points of damage onto that Wild Rider Viper. Man, I don't know if that was just pure ballsiness or an oversight on dlord's part, but God...
Well, he's been playing ballsy. He let Kith get bloody turn 2. Yeah. He's letting that damage go through. Maybe he's saving the 3 shielder for when something attacks for 3. I don't know.
I mean, he
ballsy move.
Have that copy of Raid, but man, I like to think of myself as not being a very conservative player, and he's taken it to new levels. So
Yes, he certainly
is
has.
thinking. Corvus is trying to decide, do I want to drop the 10th Company Scout, add a couple of points of damage to the Wild Rider Squadron? But then the crappy situation is, if all these units stay, Kith is going to be able to attack first, clear one of those units, and then we could see a shield card used to preserve the Wild Rider Squadron. 10th Company Scout gets dropped into play because, of course, this is a veteran brother Maxos. It's not 8th Company Assault Squad. 2 points of damage to the Wild Rider Squadron. So, very interesting. Now it's going to be the Rogue Trader's turn to attack.
Interesting.
Both.
I wonder if he's gonna, maybe he's saving that copy of Crushing Blow for a shield on Cato. If assuming he loses this battle, dlord's gonna stay because he's got enough shields to get through it.
Both of them decide to stay.
Both decide to stay.
So this is definitely going to hurt. I don't see Corvus winning this battle in Aatrox Prime. Being able to hit Cato's HQ is really going to hurt quite a lot. And the same thing for hitting the Honored Librarian and the Tactical Squad. The Wild Rider Viper, yep, we see that copy of Raid discarded to protect that, and it looks like Corvus just cannot catch a break, because now if these players decide to stay, that's basically Corvus throwing away his scout, so he may as well retreat with it, and then...
well, it's going to die anyway back in
yeah,
HQ.
well, I was thinking, is dlord going to be firing at the HQ to hit 4 units, or is he going to be firing at the ready units? I guess I would assume it's... I don't know, that tactical squad, like, man, you'd wish, if you were dlord, to have at least one Archon's Terror to get rid of it, because what a nightmare of a card.
You know, the bad thing for Corvus, too, is that dlord's sitting on a copy of Murder Razor Wings. If he deploys that first, you know, he's only going to have 4 cards in hand this next turn. You got a good chance, 25% chance of getting rid of Crushing Blow. Yeah. And I'm sure he was hoping to, use that at some point. How crazy would that have been if he had double Crushing Blow, though?
Yeah, man, that would have just been nuts. That would have been a Hive Tyrant versus Davis Kingsley move.
Ooh, he did get a copy of Indomitable and Honored Librarian.
So that is definitely going to be helpful, but we've also got a copy of Archon's Terror for dlord. So it's all potentially going to come down to this round here. Corvus, 5 resources, 4 cards in hand, Crushing Blow, Indomitable. And dlord's 8 resources, 8 cards, one of which is Archon's Terror. He's got a Bloodied Reavers, the Murder of Razor Wings. Really, whatever those Razor Wings get rid of is going to be pretty golden.
Yeah, really, they're all good choices. Yeah. I mean, he could play
the Razor
and there
Wings.
It comes.
Let's see what it's going to be. It's Crushing Blow.
Ooh, it's Crushing Blow. That hurts.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not really sure what I'd have preferred to lose, but I don't feel like my heart is breaking over that one.
Yeah, there's no great options. Like
the Sicarius is Chosen maybe would have been the ideal to get rid of.
Yeah, because Chosen can move the Wild Rider over to
I guess
Farron.
I didn't think about that.
So he's got to be thinking between, do I play the Libby at 1 or the Chosen at 3?
Yeah. So if by some miracle, well, I don't mean to say it like that, if Corvus ends up winning Planet 1, he's still going to have to win, I guess, the last planet. If instead dlord wins any planet, that is going to be the game for him. So it's kind of Corvus here. Like, I almost wonder, is Kith going to set herself up at Planet 2 and then just try and crush Cato the following turn?
The problem is that Cato has initiative the following turn, and he's got 3 attack Armor Bane, which, it almost wouldn't surprise me if Kith goes for a 7-planet win here, if she decides not to go to, Planet 1, obviously.
Well, I guess it's... Oh. Okay, yeah, Corvus is indicated. Well, wait, he's passed, as in he's, done with actions passed?
That seems strange.
That does seem really strange. So I don't really know what he's thinking. I guess he's just assuming that he's not going to be able to kill anything, so he's just... I would imagine he's giving up planet number 1, perhaps?
Well, he can't give up planet number 1. That's the
Oh, that's
game.
right. Yeah.
But he might be thinking, like we were thinking, okay, Kith is not going to go to planet 1. She's going to set up and try to win next turn. But, bam, there's another copy of Chimera token, and that can move the Wild Rider over.
Yeah.
So he can have the Chimera, both Wild Rider squadrons, and the Wild Rider Viper over at Planet 1 when he so chooses.
So Kith goes to 2, Cato goes to 1. For the 4th time, our screen readjusts. Let's call that time number 5. And, yeah, so it looks like people are moving back. Our spectators are, as the playing field is shrinking, it's like shrinking in breadth and height, I guess.
All he got was a copy of the Furious Sicarius, and Sicarius is chosen.
Yeah, so dlord gets 2 cards, 4 resources, Promotion, and Chimera Master. Corvus has got Chosen and Fury. So we've still got Archon's Terror as a thing, 3 Shielder is a thing, and we can cancel a battle ability if we choose to do so. Corvus has got a lot of units at planet number 1, but like you're saying, Sam, we could see the Chimera Den move the Viper and a Chimera token to 1, and then both squadrons could move to planet number 1, but only one of those squadrons is going to be ready, which is a little bit tricky here. So maybe we're going to wait until the Tactical Squad Cardenas. Well, and we could just see... Like, we could see Archon's Terror remove the Honored Librarian, and then once the squad fires, then we could maybe see these units move over, and then we could just have a straight-up fight. But I just also would not be surprised to see just Kith kind of bide her time. She can win this battle at Planet 2, blast Cato's HQ, and that's going to be a whole hell of a lot of damaged units. So things look grim for Sicarius here.
I'm really shocked he didn't play another unit.
But that is a dead Slith Mercenary, courtesy of the Honored Librarian. Slith Mercenary is attacking Cato. Cato is at 2 HP left.
Ooh, they're both at 2 HP left. This is tricky. I mean, he's got to remember that Chimera play. I guess he could... If he decides to stay with Cato, he can Indomitable the hit from the Wild Rider Squadron. Then he could shield 1 of the Chimera damage and get out of there with 1 HP remaining by tossing his Fury as a shield. Looks like they both
Cato
cast.
exhausts. And let's see how this is going to go. If the Chimera and the Squadron both shift over, the Squadron could...
Squadron could hit him. He would Indomitable.
God, but then Aatrox Prime is still going to have an opportunity to fire. So no matter
Correct,
what...
and he doesn't have another shield.
I guess that may as well be the game right there, unless I'm doing my math wrong. Squadron and Chimera shift over. Squadron is Indomitabled. The Chimera is shielded. At the end of the combat round, Cato retreats. Win the battle or not, that is going to be a game over right there. So let's... I suppose, allow the game to come to its natural conclusion, presuming we do see that Chimera Den play, because Corvus is unfortunately almost all out of shield cards. And
the other thing that dlord could be thinking is, Corvus has gone through half his deck, and I haven't seen 1 Indomitable yet. So maybe he's thinking he's got 2, and then it's not worth me going over there or something.
Yeah, I mean, either way, we're rapidly approaching, critical mass of units at planet number 2 here. If Cato shows up, first of all, Cato's going to have to hope to high hell that he can retreat with his Warlord, and having to have both players waste a combat turn retreating, it just seems like Kith is going to be able to use so much stuff to just pick apart all of these units that are going to be arriving exhausted, and Kith is going to have a 3 shield value card and Archon's Terror, and I cannot help but not at all favor the odds here for poor little Corvus. I guess we've even got a copy of Kith's Chimera Masters, so let's say planet number 1 is going to be gone. Planet number 2, we could see a double Sicarius is chosen at 3 to pull a couple units away, but then we could see the Chimera Master the Chimera Den plus Master generate another token and, do the whole, moving thing. So...
All right, there goes the Indomitable.
Yep. Wild Rider Squadron moves in, takes that Indomitable swing, and now are we going to see that Chimera Den used or not? dlord indicates that he does not have an action. Tactical Squad Cardenas fires. That's going to be a point of damage dealt to that Wild Rider Squadron. And now are we going to see that Chimera Den used or not? This is where the game gets very interesting.
I'm still shocked that Corvus did not play a unit. I mean, either a Libby at 1 or, again, the Chosen at 3 to move that readied Wild Rider over.
So Corvus indicates that he has passed, and now it's all going to be up to dlord. It would be as simple as moving a Chimera, and there's going to be the Den exhausting, and there we are. Are we going to see the Viper move alongside? Looks like the answer is no. That Chimera Den is going to be attacking, and now Corvus knows that the game is unwinnable for him at this point. So 1 point of damage dealt to Captain Cato Sicarius, and now we may as well just let all these things die. I can only imagine that dlord must assume that Corvus has a shield in hand, but that is not going to be the case, and it looks like Corvus must be deciding to just stay and fight and accept his fate here. So this is, Kith is going to retreat. This is one of the semi-finals. So whichever player wins this, spoiler alert, it's not going to be Corvus. That player is going to advance to the championship. So out of 187 people that entered this tournament, only 2 are going to make it to the finals, and only 1 player is going to be able to be crowned champion. That's the way that math works. Archon's Terror is randomly discarded, which was a hell of a pick, but... I guess at this point it's going to be another planet added to Corvus's victory display, but as soon as Kith resolves Aatrox Prime, that's going to be the game right there. So grats to Corvus for winning that planet. But now, Aatrox Prime, I suppose, I'm not seeing anything that Corvus can do.
No, I think it's over.
Yep. So I guess let's go ahead and wait for Corvus to call out the GG. He is pulling it right down to the last possible moment. Cato is targeted.
She points right to Cato.
And there we go. So for a 6th or 7th time, our screen is readjusted, and that is GG right there. So good game. Congratulations to dlord for advancing to the championship match of the spring 2016 season of the Black Crusade. So very well played by Corvus, Kevin Hynes, all the same. But I guess, Sam, what do you think about this match?
Well, Corvus has done very well. Again, he is a much better player than I, but, I think playing the Devastator early there with no target to destroy was questionable. And then again, this is, I want to stress this is, armchair quarterbacking here, but not playing a unit of any sort there, either the Chosen, which is probably what I would have done, or the Libby at 1, questionable. But Corvus is saying here he should have played the Exterminatus when the Viper, Chimera, and the Master were all unfair. And don't know what I was thinking, but hey, it happens, he said. So, good game, dlord. Moving on to the finals where he also got to last season. So, good on him. His opponents that await either Greenpeace or Von Fersen. So, with Corvus losing, the West region has got no more players left here in the Black Crusade. It's going to be up to the Europeans to decide the champion. So
right. So it looks like it's down to the loyalists fighting it out with one another. I could have sworn there was some sort of heresy or something that occurred that meant that loyalists should not fight other loyalists. But I suppose this was a hell of a match. It just goes to show that each and every one of us is indeed fallible. But spectacularly well played by by both players. So, viewers, thank you so much for joining Sam and I for this dual commentary match. It's not often that we have the opportunity to do this, but it was fun while it lasted, as are most things. So, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so, be sure to interact with me on Twitter, both Sam and I on Facebook, look forward to future seasons of the Black Crusade, and most definitely look forward to our championship match. I'll be attempting to record our other semifinal, but at the very least we're going to be seeing two incredible players facing off in the championships. So, if you ever have any inclination to help support the Hive Tyrant, I would definitely recommend you consider making a small contribution to my Patreon. But, as always, thank you so much for watching, and once again, be sure to check back in again soon for much more living card game content to come.